Welcome back to Central Coast Disc Golf, Round 2, Part 2 from the 2023 Discrafts Cascade Challenge up here in Shelton, Washington. Getting a good look at the mountains there in the background. We're just 45 minutes southeast of the Olympic National Park, about an hour and a half southwest of Seattle, Washington. I'm Nate Perkins here today with my good friend Connor O'Reilly. Connor, it's a pretty fun course to watch, huh?
Absolutely. One of those courses you hit your gaps, you can shred it, but there's really no way to repeat this course over and over. You're going to get a little bit of different looks, especially on these longer holes. Starting off on hole 10, very unique shaped par 4, almost like a U-turn. Got to play out of this gap into the ripping headwind, maybe slightly off the right currently, and we'll have out of bounds long on the left over there. You really want to land somewhere out here in the open. The closer you can pinch it to the right side of the fairway, the shorter approach you have. There is this hazard area right here on the right, marked by these trees with the yellow triangles on them. And yeah, just another one of those par 4 approaches where you kind of throw the proper shape if you're coming through this left side gap, but it's hard to really get through it each time for a clean look. Very difficult backhand hole.
Yeah, James going nomad here. Nearly out the gap, just kind of slows him down there a bit.
I found, especially if you're throwing this forehand, sawing this one off is almost best case scenario. Getting way off to the right there, otherwise you're going to leave yourself more of that 250 foot range in. Whereas Nico here, getting skinny on the gap and getting the flare, he's going to have some options, might even be able to play over that hazard with the backhand.
You like that better than kind of where Gavin landed?
I do. It's not exactly what I want to commit to off the tee, I don't think. But if I do happen to put too much hyzer on it, all week it seems like it's been a easier place to get up and down, because that all of a sudden that backhand window on the right side of the hazard opens up.
So James well out of position here, going stable in V, going big turnover. Just not quite enough life on that one, and I think that's in the middle of the hazard. He is getting that yellow flag, and
wow,
that'll put a stop to his 6 birdie streak.
Yeah, kind of cool to see it from that camera angle, just facing James as he threw it. It looked like it was low on the hand, and definitely ended up being just not high enough. Nico not getting far enough to access that backhand gap I was talking about. Gonna try to swing this one in on the wind.
Checks up just outside the circle. Wow, the wind is really ripping. Kind of a left to right head here for James.
Yeah, and he maybe puts a little more juice on that one, being afraid of getting too soft in that much wind. Gavin going back to the same disc as off the tee, maybe just trying to get to the ground and get a good flare skip. I don't know if that's that DD1 out of him. Ooh. James almost able to keep the scorching putting streak alive there.
Gavin out here in the 50-foot range.
Running up, making sure to check.
Interesting.
I definitely,
like it.
I see a lot of Gannon's tendencies in the way Gavin's been building his game recently, and definitely not a bad guy to emulate. I know they hang out a lot too. Both Iowa boys.
Oh,
wow. Good read,
what
Gav.
a read. I love that, man. Can't hate him for that whatsoever.
I mean, if you're going to go make a read like that, why not just cash it, right?
Oh, and Proctor just about to run that one in, and yeah, he's feeling a little frustrated right now.
Nico starting to breathe a little bit of life into his round.
Where you going? You been following me all day. Stay right there. Get that advertisement.
Oh, the blue bonnet. Not the jackrabbit. Get it right, Connor. Beautiful looking plastic though.
All right, hole 11. I'm going to stick with my guns here and say this is the signature hole here at Shelton Springs. Just 285 feet. Little island hole in the woods though. You really never see it. One that's not easy to forget here. Got some fir trees once you've made the island. What is it, 220 to clear that first wall there?
Yeah, maybe 200 at the short end.
Yeah, not too far of a hole. But these trees early left and these trees right kind of lend a prescribed line here. It's just a baby flex, a little bit of left to right movement toward the bucket.
Yeah, depending on the stability you want to choose, there's a lot of ways you can release this one. Gavin cruises out the back in that tailwind. Nico plays that force over, kicks left but stays in. It's going to be a scary putt though, because that wall is not very tall and it's just outside the bullseye, or pretty much right on the edge of the bullseye. So long putt runs can definitely go out of bounds here.
Proctor throwing a pace here. James going back to that Nomad. It was once his putting putter, now converted into a thrower.
Yeah, he likes playing that hyzer that just stands up and then drifts right on this one. Not a lot of players attacking this hole with hyzer angle out of the hand, trusting a flippy disc. Most guys are liking a flat or force over shot out of this one.
I haven't seen too many players throw forehand. Just doesn't shape up well, does it?
Yeah, if you're really a good technical straight forehand thrower, I think it might even be the best way to attack this one, but not a lot of guys throwing that straight forehand at 285. At least better than they throw the putter. Hole 12 is a beautiful par 4, definitely on the shorter side. I think it might be, I guess it's the second shortest par 4 on the track. There is a left and a right gap off the tee, but most players are going to take this right side that the drone's flying. Whether you want to play a mid-range and try to keep it just dead center in the fairway, or whether you want to try to get aggressive and flip up a fairway driver, get anywhere down there just to give yourself a shorter approach. A couple different ways to play this one. We'll even see maybe aggressive forehands. We saw Barella try a roller here yesterday. Not sure how much I would advise that, but apparently in practice I heard he got it to like circle 2 or something.
No, roller off the tee?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's there to me when I look at it, but.
And what do you think, Connor? You think that we can go ahead and put this one as a rip it and reassess hole?
I don't know. I'm playing fuse putter on this one, and I think that's exactly how the hole wants to be played. So
cool.
Hard for me to say it. I'm also a more conservative power thrower in the woods in terms of the disc. I usually choose one disc less than a lot of my competitors. But James, that seemed to be, was that Photon?
It was Photon, yeah.
That is crazy to me to see James playing such a fast disc here. But I guess he probably put some ones way down there in practice.
And if you get, over 400 feet down the fairway, you got all kinds of options to play up the left side or play back down that tunnel, and you've got less than 200 in.
I had a feeling Gavin might go to this forehand, especially after seeing him go with it on 8. Not quite the flex angle, but that was a good kick.
It definitely has a lot of potential if you can commit to that angle and then find some stability late in the flight.
Nico going to the roller. Makes some progress, but gonna be hard to count on birdie from there.
This hasn't been Proctor's day thus far.
Oh,
How many is that?
favorable kick for Gavin.
Number 3, maybe?
Yeah.
You can't hate it, though. Everyone needs it, and honestly, I'd love to see it. I think there was a point where, it's hard to accept someone else's luck, but now I'm happy for them,
Yeah, I know I had a period as a player. I think my first year on tour, I did a bad job of letting that stuff like that affect me, and I've started to realize, like, who cares? Root for them to get good stuff. Hopefully they'll root for you to get good stuff, and
Yeah.
it'll all work out in the end.
Really, you're not competing against them. You're competing against the course, and then you're comparing scores.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if you're shooting better, you're probably not thinking much about that type of stuff.
What is that, James's 4th C2 putt of the round? And he is still yet to card a par, Connor.
He is here to put on a show or die trying, you guys.
And he's first to 20.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of guys before the tournament were thinking maybe somewhere in that 34, 35 mark. You could find yourself
Really?
thinking you'd be the victor here, but James really pushed that number day one, and Gavin, high in the chains, doesn't get through. We see that reaction out of these baskets sometimes. It can feel confusing as a player. You feel like you gave it a good chance, but just never gets in there.
Man, 35 would be just such a number to reach. I heard a lot of people saying more like 22 to 26 would take it down. Looks like it might be somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is usually a little more than I expect, because it seems like there's always one or two people shredding, and James coming off with that near 1100 first round showed that.
At Discraft, we don't wait to see what the future holds. We build it. The future is in your hands.
I know someone who would probably favor a good shot on this hole.
360 foot par 3 sets up really well for the driver forehand. A little bit of flex over this bush, flattens out for just a bit and gets some stability right about the 300 foot mark. A little bit of ground play if you really want to park this one. I think we might see at least one turnover here. James going envy again, Connor. Can you believe this?
This is such a long... Most guys who are touching on the backhand turn are going at least a mid-range here, but James...
This is the nastiest disc offer.
Wow.
In the woods, man.
That was a perfect backhand on this hole. I gotta say it. That was it.
It's just a towering envy shot. I think most people that have ever played the game, if they threw one of those shots, they would never forget it. James has thrown hundreds, maybe thousands of those shots, Connor.
Just the commitment to the full power hyzer release, making it happen, choosing the disc to match how he wants to throw. Gavin going FD3 there.
Wow, he really hit. That was FD3?
Yeah.
Wow, that's 370 foot shot there. That's displaying his power with the forehand hyzer.
And I thought Proctor might go backhand here, the way he's chosen his shot on a couple other holes, but he ends up going forehand, just gets a little flat on it. Just goes to show everyone has their own way of playing and thinking the game, and it's hard to predict as Nico catches Cage on the approach shot. Yeah, James's MB shot on this tee is just... It's a thing of mastery, you guys. It takes so much practice and so much trust, so much skill to shoot a line like that. Even once, like Nate said, but to be able to just repeat it over and over. So impressive.
He just has such a good relationship with his equipment. You know, he is just hammering a kind of neutral putter at full speed. He knows exactly when it's not going to be able to withstand the torque he puts on it. Gets to the top of his flight and just breaks so late up the fairway. You can't really just like teach someone that, you know.
No, it takes lots of practice.
Yeah.
Hole 14, par 4 at 770 feet, one of the longer ones out here. A lot of players choosing fast driver on this one and playing a little bit of hyzer out of the hand, trying to get it to ride up, not quite to flat, but continue moving straight on that hyzer and then finishing with a little bit of hyzer. Another one of those fairways where maybe if you push it on the deep straight right side, there is kind of the biggest gap coming in, but the biggest key just to get as much distance as you can off of this tee shot and find a lane, make it happen. Is that a zenith for James? No, that'll be a...
I think that's still photon.
Yeah,
he
still
is
photon.
working the zenith in there.
No, that might have just been a fresh photon.
Of course, the zenith is the latest James Conrad disc in the MVP lineup. 11 speed. Supposed to be kind of like a Wraith, I believe.
Nico a bit inside. Can this stay in the fairway? It does. Pushing to that left side. I feel like far left and far right seem like the best places here. Everything in the middle is just a lot of trees.
Yeah, that early left, you can kind of find almost like a trail straight to the pin. It's pretty hard to find it. Oh, Gavin ripping on this DD1 out wide.
Yeah, he put a lot on his body on that shot. Showed off the athleticism that he has a ton of. And wow, that's incredible.
That was a huge shot. And James, after going a little too straight.
Oh, there's that tree. Whacks his hand on it. And he is here to play. He says, you know what? I'll take my lumps. This tree's not stronger than my wrist. So he wins the battle this time. Hopefully he doesn't have any more of them. Wow, what a beautiful stand-up. That's one of the shots I feel like this course forces you to throw at least a couple times around. Just neutral disc on a lot of hyzer that just continues to stand, and it's one of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah, this card's really putting on a show right now, late in the round, huh?
Yeah, definitely been some high-level shots from everybody, even though not everyone's scoring as well as they might like. Except for this man, he's definitely been putting it together. Even with his 3 bogeys, still 7 down. And Nico been holding on all round, almost erupts.
Battling those inner demons there. And oh, wait, maybe just a little forward there on that putt. Gavin also some visible frustration, but
Nico almost did it, but you know, I appreciate you holding back right there, buddy.
it's hard not to let the emotions come into play, huh?
Absolutely, especially when you're a champion at the level that Nico is. I think some people who haven't been following the game for as long forget that Nico Locastro changed the game a decade ago, and he was one of those players, and still is, that can really pressure the top of the game at any time. I mean, people were changing their putts to putt like Nico. This is before my time, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's what I hear from the history annals.
Yeah, I mean, he was three-time I believe 3 consecutive Player of the Year. Definitely world rank #1 for a few years in a row. He is a 2-time major champion, Japan Open and the United States Disc Golf Championship. He's yet to win a world title, but he's won a lot of tournaments in his career, Connor, and pretty amazing that he's still competing at such a high level. I mean, 15 years after he really popped onto the professional scene, and here we are, hole 15, just 310 feet. One of the trickier shapes, though. You throw it dead straight, you find yourself in the dense bush there. You really need the hyzer to flip up, ride straight, and gently fade out. Or if you've got a flippy enough disc in your bag, you can kind of push this hyzer out wide and then let it break late into the flight. And that's a beautiful mid-range shot right there from Proctor with his Pathfinder.
A little bit of headwind was showing, at least when I played this hole today, so having some effect. And James, once again, told me he flipped it off to the right yesterday and does so again today. Let's see if he can find something. Oh, when you got Conrad asking for it to go in, you know, it's probably magical things happen. James is like a human rangefinder. His error is significant and very impressive. Significantly low is what I meant.
Pretty sweet line from Nico.
Yeah, I had the perfect speed on that one. Way more open than I expected for James. Luckily didn't scoot into that stuff.
Touchy little shot, well executed. Gavin from the edge of the circle. Yep, makes the correction there.
Yeah, that's that range once again where earlier this year or last year he's absolutely doing that step putt every time, but really engaging those legs from circle 2 and looking strong. If you want a cool pink hat like the one James Proctor is wearing, but instead with a CO logo representing myself, go to otbdisc.com. Shameless plug.
Love it. Love those guys at OTB. I already miss them, Connor. That was such a good time out there in Stockton. Danny and Aaron and Sam.
It feels like a home tournament every time. And here we are on 16. This one's going to be one of the most daunting tee shots on the track. Just feels really pinched here coming through this gap. A lot of players are going to go to the forehand, push it flat, look for some fade late. We'll likely see backhand out of Mr. Conrad, obviously. Once again, just looking for that flat, maybe touch a hyzer, have it drift late. We've even seen some players try to kind of cheat the hole off to the right playing this sky hyzer, but that has been either good or really bad, so one of those type of lines. Proctor back to the backhand. Oh my, I haven't seen anyone go long right of this basket all week, but well thrown and a little bit fortunate. Ooh, the classic no yes out of Babcock, and he's had one of those rounds kind of where, you know, feels like stuff could go worse, could go better, just kind of hanging on. Nico bogey free up to this point. Going to take a really good scramble to remain clean on the round.
Are you kidding me right now, Connor?
If you were impressed with that shot on hole 13, this one just one-ups it.
That's such a high level shape right there, guys. Can't even put it into words once again for you.
He's hitting his timing, his angle, his speed just perfectly right now.
We didn't get to see all of his shots for that 14 under, but this round here, you know, even with a couple bogeys, it's making a ton of sense why James was just able to dissect such a difficult track. As Gavin cashes in another circle 2 putt. He's 5 under for the round.
Proctor floats it in there.
And it's a little turkey there for Proctor late in his round. He's 4 under.
Nico to remain bogey free. Great focus. I want to say I'm proud of the way Nico's handled himself today and kept battling. Not let the round be, you know, all about him where he gets up in his feelings. Just tried to keep it to himself. And yeah, it's an honorable thing.
Hole 17, kind of a daunting gap here early with these 2 fir trees. And the same width kind of continues the majority of the fairway here. It's nearly dead straight. You want to fly just over or to the left of this bush and then start to fade right in front of this last fir tree. One of the few holes out here that has any rollaway potential on the backside of the basket.
Yeah, it feels like hole 1, this hole, and maybe 18's green are the only ones where you have some second thoughts in terms of just how your putt has to land.
And James throwing the Clash Disc Berry right there.
Love it. Barry's mid-range or putter?
That's a mid-range. Similar to probably between like a rock and a buzz. Really nice disc. They just sent me a blueberry glow version of the berry.
I like that.
And James missing the gap just a little inside. Kind of shows you how tight this line really is.
Yeah, this one looks pretty simple on paper, but it's definitely playing difficult. You gotta just really have that timing dialed.
Oh, second forehand of the round, Connor.
It's funny because I didn't notice till recently, but me and James both kind of have a similar little thing we do in our forehand where we kind of like pre-cock it and then throw it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's always funny to see. Like, oh, he does it too. It's not bad. James does it. But maybe I shouldn't be copying Conrad's forehand.
All right, Gavin. Good looking stroke. He's on a turkey.
James steps up quick. Jams it in there. Matching the fit to the putters. Always gives you bonus points. Barry birdie for Proctor. That makes 4 in a row for him.
Yeah, he woke up late in the round. Never a bad time to string them together, though, is there, Connor?
Absolutely not. I think anytime you can get yourself on a roll, don't look back. Just keep throwing that next shot. Don't think about what's happening. Just keep on playing.
And this is a pretty demanding tee shot here to finish your round, huh?
Absolutely is. And today we saw the wind definitely pulling through this tunnel at our face, making some players rethink the disc that they maybe have thought that was the proper one for this. You'll see fairway drivers and a lot of distance drivers here. Some players are just trying to play dead straight and get anywhere around here or even further towards that out of bounds on the right, but a lot of players looking to skip into this spot. Whether you give yourself this dead straight technical approach up the middle or play kind of the crash hyzer that has to get through these bushes here on the right side as you come in and all the tree trunks. Really only 2 ways into this green. And the beautiful stacked rocks elevating this basket quite a bit.
Proctor going with that cookie again.
That one is stable. He really hammered it flat.
That's his Tour Series cookie in the sunny plastic. Faded out just a bit too early. You feel like most players are going driver on this one?
I think I've seen more fast drivers than fairways here, but I'm a big fan of that fairway speed. Oh, little deer coming across.
Perfect little frame there. Catch that guy running across the FPO
I didn't see
pad.
the VIP badge on that guy. Hold on. Where's Bill? Where's Bill? Get Bill.
Bill is a full-time employee of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. He does a little bit of the crowd control.
Yeah, he does a lot of the operations, and when it's tournament play, a lot of times he's handling that chase card crowd control.
He enjoys it, man.
Yeah, he's Bill's character. Always got a bunch of stories to tell, and always got a smile on his face. Good scramble out of Nico. Should have short work to save par.
Gavin looking sky high here with this DD1. Gonna be hard to get all the way back to the pin there.
Yeah, looks like he finds himself somewhere in the open. Some soft collapse, not a lot of enthusiasm, so probably still has some work to do.
So James is in a really nice spot here. He's going nomad into the green and catches that last tree that kind of kicks him back out to 32 footer.
Proctor showing off the forehand touch. All Annie.
And he will have that to finish with 5 birdies in a row. Get himself to 16 under for the event.
Oh, I thought Nico was lining up a little run for us, but just chipping up, honoring the fact that he's played a clean round and makes a mature decision to take par. Just inside for Conrad.
Little nose up, and that headwind just kind of lifts it over the band, and almost the same distance back.
Wow.
And almost the same result. And James can't even believe it. Puts his hand on his head, and Proctor
Opposite
hits the
wind
cage.
for Conrad coming back. Thinks he needs to give it the juice and just not quite. And
Whoa. This is hard to watch, Connor.
ice cream truck giving spooky vibes in the background as James goes from birdie to double bogey.
So he had that first putt for a birdie, and to have a 5-stroke lead heading into the final round over Ricky and Evan. And now he's just going to have 2.
Man, 5 strokes over Ricky feels a lot better than 2. As we all know the type of damage Ricky can do final round, but James, no stranger to hitting gaps, and he looks very crisp throughout most of the round, so let's see how he shakes it off if battles back tomorrow, holding on to that 2-stroke lead.
Wow, Nico, bogey free. Kind of a frustrating day for him. We could see it in the body language, and 4 down, definitely nothing to scoff at, but he's going to drop a few cards, and here we are. James drops back down to 20. He's going to be 2 ahead of Ricky and Evan Scott, who shot an impressive 8 under today to follow up his 10 from day 1. Eric Oakley bumps up to the lead card with a couple of throw-ins today, one of them from 180 feet
With his signature.
With his signature, which he also threw one in Sweden last week. I don't know if you saw that highlight.
And apparently he hit chains on 9 on the tee as well, right before he threw it on 10.
Wow. He's on one, having a great season, and he's been battling with his buddy James Proctor. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Central Coast Disc Golf. These guys are editing through the night. It's free to subscribe to their channel, and it helps them out quite a bit. From Connor O'Reilly and Nate Perkins, we will see you tomorrow for the final round of the Cascade Challenge.